Our enemies will fall.
I know we're supposed to head to Northdale. That can wait, right? Besides, this lovely little goblin here was just telling me about some scourge that are even closer by. Apparently there's this Nerubian underlord, Ixlar. He's been trying to make a name for himself ever since the Lich King was slain. He set up a camp to our north. Sure, Tyrus just wants us to kill Banshees. We'll get to that. Let's kill this Nerubian first, while we're close.
The reckoning is at hand.
Interesting.
So, that's actually an unchanged quest. Basically, she wants us to go kill Borrelgor. Although I like the quote on it, which is, "What's for dinner? You." See what Vix Tool wants me to do.
Yeah.
Time I asked a favor of you, Deutsch. Far to the north of Eastward Tower, hidden amongst the hills, is the Mossflayer capital city of Zulmashar. It's here that I was born. It's here that I died. The traitor Threshin sits atop the Zulmashar ziggurat. It was my every right to be there, but he took the seat from me from treachery and deceit. He is not strong. He is weak. I'll meet you in Zulmashar. We'll kill him. Your strength and mine together.
Leave me be, man.
This is what an undead troll sounds like, little Billy.
May the light embrace you.
The Mossflayers of Zulmashar spit in the face of the light. They cannibalize, they criminalize, they prioritize the forces of evil over good. I advise you remove their eyes and give rise to the demise and goodbyes of the unwise. You'll travel north and you'll rain down upon with the righteous justice and indignation. The fury they have wrought in the eyes of the light shall be channeled unto you.
Good health, long life.
Sweet, Jay. You know, you should go to Taco Bell and get you a quesarito, or whatever they're called. Seriously, they're actually pretty good. I like them. Do it. Do it! The Lich King demands it. No? Okay. Apparently I've been live for 0 seconds. And definitely not 2 minutes and 41 seconds. I like this idea, by the way. This is a concept that amuses me. The idea that after the Lich King went away and willed all of that free will to, you know, all the former Scourge, there are certain former members of the Scourge who are still dead, like Reach over there, for example. And Reach actually wants to, you know, make a name for himself and try to present himself as some kind of new person. You know, basically forming his own army with his own ambitions and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And something about that idea just appeals to me. You know, you were part of something big, you're not anymore, but you want to make something of it. You want to carve out your own little fiefdom, you know? Oh, wait, come back. The Scourge will rise again, under a new Dark Master, Ixlar! Dead. I have no idea what you're talking about, Reach, but it is nice to see you again. Ah, that sucks, one. Well, I'm afraid tomorrow, if everything goes according to schedule, you'll be missing out on the Dwarf Zone and the Orc Zone. Think of all the meat that's on this sucker. Oh, yeah. Yes, we've already done Derbyshire. Probably, Nicholas. Now, I know what you're saying. What do you mean, probably? Well, I kind of never really had to grind for that thing, because I already had the treasures, and I already had, like, the exploration, I already had the quests, so all I had to do was a couple of reps in Tanan. So... And most of those reps were just time-based, not effort-based. So it's like, log in, do it, leave. Wait, seriously? I actually need to gather their eyes. That's actually what I'm doing. This Draenei is sick. He really...
Press on.
Plucked from the head of a sinful troll. Really? Really? Probably, Jay. Why do you ask? The better question would be, when will I play it? Hey, King Bubble. But yeah, the idea is to finish Badlands today. Not sure if we're going to do that. We might run a little late. Depends on how quickly we go through it. So we're going to be kind of pushing through these a little bit faster than we otherwise have been. And then, what the hell is he doing? And then, tomorrow, fingers crossed, we're going to be hitting the Searing Gorge and the Burning Steppes. Excuse me. Robot Death Army. Has the dev kit been given out? The GEC for making mods yet? Because until it is, my interest in Fallout 4 is non-existent. Oh, that sucks, Nicolas. By the way, I love the idea that trolls practically don't even acknowledge the fact that they're undead. Like, for that's such a troll mentality. A troll's like, yep, we undead, mon. But what? What's the difference between this and being alive? You know? In about 2 hours, Norlex. I get that question so much, it's kind of funny.
You be needing something.
So why do you... Fine. Where's this idiot? You. Material to sleep through. I know my stuff's boring, but damn. He's whatever. King Bubble, there are a bajillion, 100 trillion, gadrillion RPGs out there. I need a little more to go off of than an RPG to recommend an RPG. So, let me ask you something, Reach. Why do you say that? Because from my understanding, Bethesda was actually being pretty decent about the whole increase to the price thing. Now, of course, my information could be mistaken. Because, yeah, that's sort of what happens. There we go. I waited long for this day. My duty is not over yet. In many ways, this was the easy step. This is the last time you'll see me, Deutsch. I'm leaving the Caravan. If you want to continue fighting by my side, hang on to his body. I can wait a while longer. When you're ready to say goodbye, throw the body into the bonfire. Thank you for your companionship, Deutsch. You were strong. So yeah, you can keep him around basically as long as you want. Until you're ready to finish the quest, at which case you do this little thing. This little number. Burn. I'll be going now. I got no reason to remain here. I may be dead, but my will be on. I see you on the green fields on the other side. And he literally jumps into the fire. Vextool has passed on to the next role. Your job here is done. What's this? Vextool must have dropped it away into the fire. Okay. So yeah, whether or not the previous season pass actually covers the automation, see you around Zone. Have a good few work days. Whether or not the season pass covers the automation, DLC kind of changes that. But it sounds like Bethesda is having planning problems, not scumbag problems, from what I'm hearing. I mean, maybe I'm just misinterpreting the situation. I don't know. I don't see it as a big deal, personally. The only ways I could see it as a big deal is A, if this was a deliberate malignant intent, shrug, no idea if that's true or not, or B, if they were, the previous existing pass didn't include past content, basically. If they changed the deal and we have to pray they don't alter it any further, then that's kind of scummy. Although still understandable, if they're just incompetent.
Good fortune.
Oh, hallelujah and praise to the light, my brother.
Lioness,
I'm glad you went and killed those evil, evil trolls. Holy crap, there's a freaking abomination here. Oh, okay, hi, yeah. Why are there... Okay, whatever.
What's up?
Keep this up. I may have to keep you at Eastwall, dwarf.
Have a good one.
What do you offer?
I couldn't stop him. While you were off, and Terranor out Giddy ran north all alone. Terranor, you should have known better. Giddy gets so impatient sometimes, and you only egg him on. If Giddy gets into trouble, I'm blaming you for this.
Spread the good word, eh?
Oh, I am terribly sorry.
Baladash, Malanore.
Damn that dwarf. He's always getting me in trouble with Fiona. Look at her, she won't even talk to me. I'm gonna stay here and try to mend my friendship with our Worgen friend. Would you mind going and making sure Gidwin's alright? I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's not horribly dead. Right? Right, he's not horribly dead. Good. For the light. I have one real Tauren character, but none will be playing for the Lorerun, no. He's a druid, because of course he is, because I have no choice. All classes, all races for the win. I wonder what an undead druid would look like. Anyways. You know, it's funny you say that, Reach, because I do have a topic related to that I wanted to talk about. What do we got here? It's a book. Ugh, go away. Okay. So it's Gidwin's Book of Blessings. Okay, then. I hate to sound like the devil's advocate, but I kind of agree with Jay on this. If they release a significant amount of additional content, yay! They're not going to. Let's be 100% honest about that. And you know how I know this? Because I've played Bethesda games before. I mean, do you think that... Well, okay, this is going to be a matter of opinion. But you do think the Vampire and the Dragonborn DLCs in Skyrim are $60 of content? Because I don't. They're good, but I'm not sure that's $60 good. You know what I mean? Now, Oblivion, that's a little trickier, because Shivering Isles was a fairly large thing. In fact, it was basically an expansion, not DLC. So if we got Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles, is that worth $60? That's getting closer. And of course, if we took the two expansions from Morrowind, those are definitely worth $60. I just realized that without context, that sounds horribly nostalgic. Horse armor is definitely worth $60.
Anu Belore de la Na.
Northdale's home to a few ghosts and banshees. Nothing old Giddy can't handle. You didn't see him. Where could he have gone then? His prayer book. Why would he leave that behind? Oh. Oh, by the light, what have I done? This is my fault. I ignored his warnings, his complaints, everything. I couldn't help myself. I saw the scourge beyond the tower. I had to go kill them. Argus says that Gidwin's taken northwest, and that's our only lead. I have to go back. Argent Crusade be damned. We're getting Gidwin back from those scourge trash.
Death to all who oppose us.
Let's frickin' do it then. So where's the Tauren? Can't believe I let Gidwin run off like that. It's not your fault, Terna. He ran off on his own will. None of us could stop him. I can't be certain he was killed. Maybe he just ran off somewhere. No, he'd never leave his prayer book behind. He was always nose deep in that book, studying. He was always studying, trying to get better. Even more reason to believe he's still alive. Paladin like Gidwin makes a fine Death Knight. Any member of the Scourge powerful enough to defeat him would know that. It's likely he's being held somewhere awaiting a death ritual. Really? That's great news! Actually, that's terrible news, but considering the alternatives, if we're to find him, we're headed in the right direction. It's likely he was taken to Stratholme or the Plaguewood. Both are places of great evil, and this is the last lake. This is the lake of my journey I shun the most. I'm not sure I'm ready to go in there alone. You're not alone, Tarnal. You've made allies on the way. Besides, you're a skilled paladin in your own right. Me? Skilled? No. Gidwin was the good paladin. He was the one who stayed up for hours every night practicing. Yet it was you who kept up to him, without practice. I've watched you both fight, Terranah. You've got natural talent, more than Gidwin ever will. Perhaps that's why he left without you. What do you mean? Perhaps he felt he needed to prove he was as talented as you. Wow, this is all my fault. I've got to see him. I've got to set things right. I wouldn't say it's your fault, but don't let that stop you from saving Gidwin. Isn't this kind of ironic, by the way? Because her statement is totally true, by the way. The fact that the Scourge Light would want to turn Gidwin into a Death Knight is the only thing that saved his life. Literally. Isn't that wonderful? Hang on. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, we will see them again in Warlords, Little Billy. And, of course, technically we'd see them on the fire, the Molten Front. I believe Jim Sterling said something about that recently, Reach. About the idea of, why do we have to praise someone because they're not being terrible?
Victory lies ahead.
Time's wasting. Every minute we waste gives the Scourge another chance to kill Gidwin, if he isn't dead already. Not that I think he is. Gidwin may be a stick in the mud. When it comes to it, he can swing the light like a champion.
Remember the Sunwell.
We're kind of in a hurry. I'd really like to finish Badlands today, and I kind of have to hurry to do that, so...
I am honored.
We're gonna grab a few quests here. Possibly Dragon Cat. Maybe. Perchance. Depends on people who aren't me, as I like to say. Because it does. Is it in here? Yeah, it has to be. Oh, right. Okay. So, Dwarf, please, I ask for help. Something's happened to my people. Our commander, Ranger Lord Hawkspear, came upon an item of magical enemy, and my friends My family, they succumbed. They fell to its twisted power, dwarf. All of them. My Ilaria wouldn't want to live like that, nor would my brothers. Please put them out of their mystery. Oh my god. So you remember how there used to be high elves here? Specifically, high elves, not blood elves. These were a group of high elves who actually were, how to put this as nice as I can, banished from Quel'Thalas, from Silvermoon. And, yeah. So they hang out here, refusing to be a part of the Alliance, but also refusing to be a part of the Blood Elves. So they were just kind of doing their own thing. And it looks like they came across a magical artifact. And you know what's funny is when you... Well, yeah. For those of you not aware, these are wretched. A.k.a. doomed. Ah! We paladins are normally taught to exercise judgment and control when dealing with our foes, but this is an emergency. And I never paid too much attention to my trainers anyhow. We're going to head into the Plaguewood and find out what they can about Giddy. You deal with the Scourge just to our northeast. The undead don't fear death. But if you beat them enough, their tongues might slip. Okay, I'll think about that. So let me go ahead and pull up the thing. Gotta log into my dashboard here. I will tell you nothing, dwarf pig. Yeah, what Cloudy says is true. I do not fear death. Normal, aka the good outfit, is winning. Here we go. Okay, here's from Vermosen. Thank you for the gigantic donation. It's okay, I understand not being here. Sorry for the jump scare. Thank you for the donation, Formosan. Where would you like to put it towards, Formosan? Plaguewood is too big. Your friend is gone. You'll never find him. Foolish dwarf. You seek the dwarf? Baron Anastari. Oh, crap. Baroness Anastari. You remember her? She was an old Stratholme. Not the Caverns of Time. The vanilla Stratholme. The previous Stratholme. The one we will not be doing because it doesn't exist anymore. That wouldn't surprise me, Norlex, in all honesty. Sorry, Reach. But we've had the other two suits have had their time in the sun. It's time at last for the awesome suit to win.
I offer service with a smile.
Sounds like you're successful. Tarano wasn't joking when he said he didn't care about judgment and caution. He nearly took off that high elf's head as he ran into the Plaguewood looking for Gidwin. Should go after him.
Cheers, mate.
Can I help you?
With the recent unfortunate developments involving Gidwin, it might not be wise for a man my age to take the dangerous trip through the Plaguewood. This is fine. I can visit Plaguewood Tower my next trip around the loop. I do, however, have a delivery I need to get to Judekins. Will you take it for me?
Have a good one.
You... Got it! Putting it towards normal. Thank you, Formosan.
How may I help?
Do not feel sorry for me. Those were my friends you saw at Quilthillion. But they were already as good as dead.
Good luck, friend.
So yeah, basically those elves there, as was mentioned earlier, they were starving themselves because they refused to... words gone. To eat, to drink of magic. In fact, when the Sunwell was reattached, Lorthamar went out personally, by the way, to meet with them, under great risk to himself, and offer them a place back in Quel'Thalas. They said no. They said, screw off, we'll live here on our own by ourselves. Now, ironically, this actually makes sense given things we have learned since then. Since we have learned that the Sunwell's range is not infinite, this makes a lot more sense now, because it means that because they refused to go back to the Sunwell, they were still at just as much risk of, you know, falling to the wretched. So the first time they got a hold of a magical artifact, any magical artifact, well, what would happen if you had been starving for years? And, not literally like starving to death, just starving, malnourished, basically, for years. And then all of a sudden someone put a banquet in front of you. Ironically, you could also really damage yourself by doing something just like that. Favorite setting of all is the one you're looking at, Jay. Seriously. Although, probably not my favorite Lorerun, but definitely my favorite saving. Noralex says, "All hail the Dark Lady," which I'm going to assume goes towards normal. In response to Dragon Cat's question, these are donating towards our outfit, basically, that we'll be wearing. Which won't actually, admittedly, matter for about 4 more days, if I stay on topic. I'm kind of hurrying. Like I said, I'm a little behind today because East Plagues is taking a little longer than I thought it would. But, and ironically, we're not done with East Plagues, like, for a little bit. We've got to save Gwin, finish up the Plaguewood, and then we've got to do Stratholme, which is a fairly large dungeon. Then we can go to the Badlands. Oh, I should... no, whatever. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. So this is the Plaguewood. As you can see, this place is probably not recoverable. If any place in the Eastern Plaguelands, East Plagues, is not recoverable, it's the Plagueland. It's the Plaguewood. Fun fact, you guys have seen what this looks like before it got plagued, and so have I. When we go through Old Stratholme, the instance back in the past, in the Caverns of Time, it includes all of this area right here, all of what it will eventually be the Plaguewood, all the way up to the east wall gate over there. So we've seen what this looks like before the Scourge took over. So, yay. It would be funny if Chromie was like right there.
Anaria Shola.
Noxoram. Well, first of all, because they didn't want to have 2 Noxoramises in the game, Venetia. That's the out-of-character reason. The in-character reason is it was being moved north to assist in the campaign up there. Haven't found anything but brainless undead, and plenty of them. I was just about to kill my way into Stratholme when you arrived. Do you have any success? Oh, crap, we're back to the terrible music. Hang on, terrible music. Engaged. Oops, 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 oops. That's the wrong music. Hang on. Give me just a second. There we go. Baroness Astar holds him, huh? In the Plaguewood? The Plaguewood's in a big pace, but we will find him. We will find Gwin. Immediately to our east and west are a pair of necropoli that flank the entrance to Stratholme. Inside them, you'll find a pair of Death Knights, Rivendare's lieutenants. I doubt either would have any useful for a paladin hostage, but maybe one of them will have more information.
Salama Ashalanore.
You need something?
I've been collecting the skulls of the skeletons I defeat. I've amassed a small pile of them. If you come across any skulls, you're welcome to add them to my pile. The huge pile of skulls seems to keep the undead at bay. Well, it also makes me happy to look at it.
See you around.
It's kind of creepy. Don't let anyone fool you that the Scourge is defeated. Look, do they still not roam the Plaguewood? They cling to their corrupted lad like a child's blanket. I have no choice to fight until my last breath. You can't just kill the Scourge. They come back. You have to destroy the matter that makes up their being. And even them, they might come back as specters. They can't do that anymore. Few undead use up as much mass as the abominations. Kill them, burn their bodies. Never let your rage dissipate. Remember, these abominations are sewn together from the bodies of good people. Their crime is that they exist.
See you later.
The battle for Darrowshire was one of the many tragedies we suffered at the hands of the Scourge. Its effects are felt even to this day. Many of the town's valiant defenders now roam as ghastly servants of the Scourge. We will end their misery. Hunt the ghouls! Many of these were people...
Have a good one.
Kill them all! Well, that's an interesting question, Permeus, to which I respond... How exactly was her dragon flame capable of salvaging the paladin in Icecrown? Grin. Now, that being said, I will have to admit Alexstrasza, if she went full tilt and just bathed the Plaguewood in flame over and over and over again. She would probably eventually nuke down the terrain here to the point where there was no plague left, or indeed any life whatsoever. And at that point, yeah, okay, that you could probably build new land here on the completely blank slate that she has created. What'd he drop? The note is from Baroness Anastari, and it describes a ritual that's about to happen. Oh my god! This could be where they're holding Gwin. But it can wait. And we've got quests to do. I suppose to make my statement clear, I don't think you could take the Plaguelands and reclaim it. I think you could destroy the Plaguelands and then make new land on top of it. I know that sounds like it's a bit of a technically, but I want to make that distinction clear because this is the most poisoned, caustic land in the entire game. And that's not a joke. There is nowhere even in Northrend which is anywhere close to this bad. I should also probably point out that if this guy feels like the Scourge are still a force, he should know that burning doesn't actually fix the problem. That's true, Mater. That is a valid point. I mean, Lord knows, I actually only saw all of Noxeramus from YouTube videos prior to Wrath. And I actually managed to raid old Noxeramus at all. I was one of the lucky few. You know, honestly, Norlex, I'm not sure. Well, let me take that back. I know it wasn't Death Knight Arthas. He had nothing to do with this. In fact, he had no interest in this entire situation. So it was either Kel'Thuzad, which I really have trouble believing, or it was the Nethrezim, which makes a huge amount of sense. Yeah, by the way, I want you guys to picture what it'd be like to be walking on a bed of dying fungus that's constantly just squeezing and oozing as you're stepping on it. And ignoring the skulls that litter the ground here or there, which crack when you step on them. So, your experience is... Just think about that. Now stop thinking about that because it's horrible. But yeah, I do think that could work for me, personally. I suppose it's also possible the first Lich King turned this into this. Again, I'm not really sure.
Anu Belore de la Na.
That is true, Narlix. That is absolutely true. The entire concept of blighting came from Varimathras. That is correct. The Royal Apothecary Society and their in obsession with blighting stuff all came from Varimathras, a Nethrezim, for those of you not aware. Oh, we've got to keep moving. We're getting close.
Farewell. Baladash,
What?
Malanore.
Did you find something? This is it. This is the missive to be believed. He's right over this hill. What are we waiting for? Quick, find the entrance. Come
Death
on.
to all who oppose us.
Death to all who oppose us. That sucks, Brigwin. I will print out the new receipts with my teeth. Am I printing fast enough? But yeah, you know what? The more I think about it, Narlex, the more I'm going to go ahead and accept that as my own personal mentality now. Because it makes a huge amount of sense. The Scourge don't actually benefit from blighted land. Not really. There's nothing that benefits them about this. They have other sources of blighted material for experiments and whatnot. And they benefit from, you know, death land. But we've seen what death land looks like. It's usually more dark, cold, and generally empty, as opposed to this rotted mass of doom. This literally feels like the Nethrezim just added this little extra tidbit to it because screw you. Like literally just as a thing, as a measure of spite. Because for those of you not aware, this area used to be basically one of the breadbaskets of Lorerun. This massive place of green and lush and joy and all sorts of awesome stuff. And I could just picture the Nethrezim looking at that being like, oh, God, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. You know, that kind of spiteful, I'm going to destroy you because screw you kind of a situation. You know what I mean? That just sounds like a very Nethrezim thing to do. by the way, so you might wonder what the hell is going on with this. Something that's happening here is something that should probably happen more often. When we defeat those ghouls, we are literally freeing the mushrooms. We're literally freeing the spirits that are caught within them. Remember, most of the time, the reason an undead manifests as a ghoul is because they are very unwilling. Remember how I had that huge discussion, like 3 times now, about how willingness affects how powerful you are? Well, the reason ghouls are so far down on the command chain is because they're very unwilling most of the time. And so, so we have basically removed their affliction, their curse, and then are able to speak to their spirit and set them free. Now, the thing is, this quest as it existed in vanilla kind of contradicted lore. However, now, thanks to the way the quest is presented in Cata, actually consists with lore. So I'm going to go and accept this as a successful retcon. To explain what I mean by this, the reason we can speak with these spirits and redeem them and help them is because of the fact that we've already been touched by Chromie and interacted with the spirits of Darrowshire itself. And all these ghouls that we're interacting with are not just regular random ghouls. They are specifically citizens who used to be members of Darrowshire. And so because of that connection we have to the spectral essences of Darrowshire citizens, we can interact with these spirits and give them a measure of peace and set them free. So, no inconsistencies in Cata. So, which faction is my favorite? You're going to have to clarify that question a little bit, Jay, because, whoa, crap! You'll never get away with this, you ugly stinking witch! Oh, really? What exactly will you do, dwarf? There's nobody to save you here. You're wrong, Banshee. We've come to take Gwin back. Just the 2 of you? Oh, you'll never stand a chance. I beg to differ. And notice how even the troll's there, by the way. I just think that's a nice touch there. That's just a nice little touch there. Vex 2.
What can I do for
Oh,
you?
you have no idea how happy I'm to see you two. You're a sight for sore eyes. Sore eyes that have been staring through a banshee for far too long. Oh, I'm sorry for causing you so much trouble. You take me back to the Caravan. I've had just about enough of the funk of this place. Undead stink is bad enough when you add mushrooms to the mix. I hate mushrooms. I'm going back to the Light's Hope Chapel. I'm taking Terranor and Fiona with me. I think we've all earned a well-deserved break. Let me give you this. It's me Hearthstone. You can use it to travel instantly back to Light's Hope. I won't need it. I'm going to be riding the Caravan. In the front seat.
Watch your back.
So I can choose any faction of any type for any reason whatsoever, Jay. Am I understanding that correctly? Oh, okay. Wow. I'm just going to start naming factions because I can't pick one. The Scourge, under the second Lich King. The Argent Dawn, specifically. The Cenarian Expedition. The Emerald Circle. The Earthen Ring. The Army of Light, even though that's one I made up. It should totally still be valid. Let's see, what else? Let me think about that for a minute. The Gob Squad, they're pretty awesome. Oh, jeez, there's too many. I'm trying to narrow it down a little bit. What else? I'm like going through a map of the entire world in my mind as I think about it. There. No, not the Legion. The Legion have always been kind of a flawed organization. I suppose I'm just going to have to go ahead and just say the Zandalari, even though there's actually technically 2 organizations of Zandalari. If I had to pick one of the Zandalari organizations, I'd probably go ahead and go with the Zul Loyalists of the Zandalari. I also admit I have a huge fascination for the Darkspear in general. I mean, of course, you guys know I love troll lore, right? Let's see, what else? I'm also going to have to add the Shadow Pawn, definitely, and the Lore Walkers. I shouldn't have to explain the Lore Walkers and why they're on the list. I think we'll cut it off there. I mean, I could probably come up with more if I thought about it. And I definitely could come up with more if I thought about it. Like, for example, the Ethereum just comes to mind immediately. Or no, not the Ethereum, the Consortium. Excuse me, Consortium. Wrong organization. The Consortium. We'll cut it off there. We'll cut it off there. Which one would win? Which one would I like to see win? The Army of Light! Oh, wait, you're gonna just allow that one. Which ones would I like to see win? Well, I would not like to see the Scourge win, in all honesty. Because it's not my Scourge, and therefore, you know, that would be a bad thing. The Zul Zendalari should not win. Much as I hate to say that, it's the truth. Let me out of combat. Other than that, I think the rest of them would work. Yeah, I know, right, Futures? Who knew? Yeah, for those of you not aware, the Lore Walker's title is kind of literal. They are people who who carry scrolls and remember stories of the history of the world, so that, you know, history is remembered. And they literally just walk around the world sharing those tales with people. In fact, given how Pandaren society is a little bit idyllic and a little bit naive, I'll admit, but I still would love to live there. Like, for example, wouldn't it be awesome to have a job where I could tell people lore and then get paid to do it? No, actually, Jay. One of my viewers came up with the term lore runner when I was rebranding myself. Admittedly, the connection to the lore walkers didn't occur to me until, like, months later. Yes, always having access to Pandaren food, too. Which, for those of you not aware, is the best food in the world, and that's not an exaggeration. It's like the equivalent of Olthoi food in Primus. You're not getting better than Pandaren food meals. Cool, Fruches. But no, seriously, that is... They don't actually get paid for it, because that's how Pandaren society works. Well, they have a concept of money. What it's more like is... this is such a weird alien concept, because this is the kind of thing that literally can't happen in modern real-life society. Imagine if you could walk from town to town sharing the history of your world, right? And when you got to that town, people want to hear the history of the world. So people would probably, like, vie for your attention for the honor of having you as their guest in their household, you know? Because you're such a venerated kind of individual. And yes, I have Permeus. I saw it, like, the minute it came out. And so I even tweeted about it. Nobody watches my Twitter anymore, I don't think. I don't use it that often, so I don't blame you guys. It's mostly for announcements. But yeah, so the idea of just living... You don't actually have a home. You just go from house to house, living in places and telling the denizens of any given area, you know, the story of insert whatever.
Be careful. See you around.
Dang, 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 dang.
For the Alliance.
Twitter, what's the difference? Actually, I think we are going to do that. Why don't we go ahead and do that really quick? Yeah, I think we will do that. We're actually going to ignore there's other quests. There's only like 4 of them, and they're not actually that relevant. And they do lead into Stratholme a little bit, but we'll do Stratholme in just a moment anyway. So why don't we go ahead and hearth back. But before we move on, there's something we need to be taken care of. Something very important. Hopefully we won't crash when we do it. 2, 3... Yep, okay, so... Hang on. Crashes are expected when switching servers right now. It's kind of silly, but what are you gonna do? I'm gonna laugh, Psychotic. For those of you not aware, I already have the Baron Rivendare's mount. So... Hey, that rare is still here. That's really funny. Alright. Stratholme, then. You all should know the story of Stratholme, but in the odd chance that you don't, Stratholme was one of the biggest urban sprawls in the entire area. You know how if you live in like Las Vegas, well, not Las Vegas, excuse me, Los Angeles. For those of you not aware, Los Angeles is actually a really small city with very little actual space to it. But Los Angeles isn't considered this; it's considered this. The greater Los Angeles area is what that term is actually referred to in modern nomenclature. The idea being that this is everyone just calls this Los Angeles. Hey, Spirit, feel better? Feel better? So this is Los Angeles, right? It's the same thing here with Stratholme. Stratholme's actually this, but this is Stratholme if you follow. So most of this area was considered Stratholme, and it was a fairly large city regardless. In fact, this is actually probably the single largest human city in the past, anyways, that ever was. Obviously, it's kind of a ruined wreck now, but you know.
You got my attention.
You know what? Let's get the quests first.
Talk to me. What's your
Don't worry, I'll read the quest text.
Here there. Be good.
Just got a couple things to do here. There we go. So, so as you can see, Stratholme is still on fire, which is kind of weird. But, you know, what are you going to do? This is the city that Mal'Ganis was using as the apex of his Kobayashi Maru scenario he offered Arthas, a.k.a. purge the city or they become my slaves. And as I discussed when we were going through Old Stratholme during the culling of Stratholme, it really was a Kobayashi Maru. There really was no winning that particular scenario. It wasn't going to happen. Since then, this place has been this doomy place that has been sort of a capital for the Scourge. The old Scourge, you know, the Scourge that doesn't actually exist anymore. As well as the Scarlet Crusade. This is technically, very, very technically, the Scarlet Crusade's capital. A.k.a. their primary front fortification. I say very technically because most of their organization was actually done behind lines at Tyr's Hand or at Hearthglen. Anyways... But the leader of the entire Scarlet Crusade, the Grand Crusader, was here in Stratholme. Now, for those of you not aware, the Grand Crusader was a frickin' Nethrazim, a demon, for those of you not aware what that is. And, yeah, you can understand the consequence of that. So, in vanilla, we came through here and kind of screwed up everything, killed Balnazar, who was the demon involved, defeated the Baron Rivendare, although he was later brought back up. There we go. That's interesting. Oh yeah, I should check the mailbox. Hang on. Where's that mailbox? It's over here somewhere. So we came in, did all that, defeated Baron Rivendare. You know, great victory for the light. But the thing is, we didn't quite hold on to the area, so the Scourge Light, that I've referred to several times, kind of moved back in. And, well, we'll explain what happened with the Scarlet Crusaders in just a moment. Let's read our quests first really quick, or at least a couple of the quests. Namely, this one. Men as far as Kultiras spoke of the legendary Frasyabi's premium tobacco. It was a delicacy enjoyed by every single person of importance that visited Stratholme. King Terenas, Uther the Lightbringer, High Lord Fordring, They all enjoyed Slabby's specialty. Sladly, Floss stayed in the shop when Stratholme was invaded, swearing on his life the scourge would never touch his tobacco. Venture forth and see if it remains, I assure you, it's worth its weight in gold. So, let's loot the tobacco here. Oh, I'm gonna wear your skin as a smoking jacket. The stogies, you'll have to pry them from my cold, dead... yeah, whatever. Oh. Really? He's aggroing me way over there? Yeah, sure, whatever. So I'll take your premium tobacco. Thank you very much. Oh, hey, there's a mailbox. Let's see what's in the mail. Let's see. Municipal proclamation. No tampering with the mail! The undead postmen here are probably an example of Type 2 undead, aka they were so loyal to the idea of preventing tampering of the mail that they stayed around to, you know, continue preventing it even in the future. There actually used to be a set, like a 6-piece set you could get, that was the postman's gear that you would have to get randomly from each of these post box. It was so rare that I actually never knew anyone to complete the whole set because it was such a random thing and nobody cared because it wasn't even that good of gear. Why don't we go this way? Where Market Row meets Festival Lane, you'll encounter the Unforgiven. If you slay the entirety of the Crusaders' Square, you will coax out Timmy the Cruel. Both of these former champions committed heinous act against civil innocents here in the name of gaining unholy power. You must destroy both of them and rid Stratholme of their foul presence. Take caution, for they were powerful fighters in life, and their new dark powers will have made them more formidable. Oh, okay. Dreadfuse, would you believe I have no idea what you're talking about? Yeah, that trap, if you weren't ready for it, would kill people. In fact, every now and again, thanks to either lag or inattentiveness, sometimes people would get stuck in there, and they would die. So, oh, the Unforgiven was on that list. Sorry, hang on. So, that was the Unforgiven. Lilia was a blade of righteousness amongst her people. After Arthas commanded his forces to purge the city, her sanity was ripped apart from seeing countless innocents die by her own hand. She fell on her own sword to escape the madness around her. And now she exists as a spectral being, forever denied absolution for her heinous acts. Whisper it to me, I guess, because I'm the only mod on right now, and I'll post it. Timmy the Cruel! Timmy! So, fun fact, there are basically 2 Timmys that we follow the path of their progression through Warcraft 3 and Frozen Throne. I say there's 2 because some people insist there's 2. I actually think they're the same guy. There's a kid, then there's a ghoul, then there's a revenant, then there's another ghoul. Most people think the revenant's a different person, but I like the idea that Timmy has been slowly gaining in power. This is also really horrifying because that would make Timmy here about, like, 20-ish? Maybe more like 15 at this point in history. So that was Timmy! Timmy. Timison was infamous for his savagery on the field of battle. Oh, so I guess they've confirmed it's a different person. Well, that sucks. Some speculate his sadism stemmed from ceaseless bullying he endured as a child. Now reborn as a scourge monstrosity, his mind shattered. He's tormented by those memories, causing him to answer by the name he once loathed. Timmy. Yeah. Alright, pause moment. As much as I'm in a hurry. Yes, I'm over 18, you stupid thing. Oh, sorry, here's the link for everyone else to read. Sorry. Okay. I'm with it. I get it. I agree. I concur. And I'm not going to explain why, because people need to read it. I'll let people read it, and then I'll talk about it. So, back to Stratholme for a second. Sorry, YouTube viewers. Do I still need these stupid things? I think I do. Oh, crap. Can I not go through anymore? Did they make it so you can't go through to the dead side without actually starting on the dead side? Oh, God, I think they did. No! Okay, whatever. I guess we'll do this side first. I was just kind of clearing my way through the miscellaneous stuff before I did the big stuff. Whatever. Let's talk about the Scarlet Crusade and how they're screwed. The Scarlet Crusade are screwed. There you go. That's pretty much the reality of it. So... See you around, Formosan. So the Scarlet Crusade is screwed. So these are what's left of the Scarlet Crusade. These are the Risen. We've actually already talked about these back when we were fighting them at Tyr's Hand. The long and the short of this was, again, the central bastion of Scarlet power over here. The Crusaders holding, or Crusaders hold, or whatever. And, like I said, Dathrahan himself was back here. And Dathrahan, of course, being Balnazar. Right? Well, there we go. Just kill all those guys there. Oh, gosh darn it. When it became clear that Balnazar was losing, he slew his own people, his own Scarlet Crusaders, and rose them up as this new Type 3C undead, the Risen. Like I said, uncertain to the status of their souls, but they are fully enslaved to him, but they're not golems, but they're not, you know, horribly evil, you know, intelligent, self-aware beings. They're basically mind slaves. Also, I used to do a live side all the time, and I mean all the time, because Righteous Orbs, we used to farm this place non-stop. That was Commander Maelor. He was one of the handful of other courageous warriors that risked everything to protect the Scarlet Bastion, which is what we're in right now, from being desecrated by the undead. Then they failed. Balnazar corrupted the fearless commander into one of his servants, transforming the zealot into a mockery of his former self. Yeah, mind-controlled undead, basically. It is possible these are actually just Type 3B undead, aka undead that are still themselves, that have their soul attached, and they're just under full mind control this entire time. That is possible. So this might not be a new type of undead. But given the fact that they bothered to call them something else, the Risen, I'm not sure if that's true. So this is Willie, also known as the best fight in this place back in vanilla. Willie Holtbreaker. He used to be the Cannon Master. Balnazar took great pleasure in leveraging the Cannon Master Willie's destructive abilities in Undeath, calling his prized minion by the name of Hopebreaker. The Dreadlord relishes that he has twisted Wiley and his other Scarlet Crusaders, who so despised undead, into unwitting pawns. By the way, this is also Nethrazim MO 101. Oh, what's that? You absolutely hate undead? You're an undead now. They love that kind of crap, which honestly makes me even more convinced than ever that the whole Plaguewood thing was probably behind, was probably something that the Nethrazim were behind. Because that is just so their MO. Oh, look, this wonderful, peaceful place. Let's make it horrible. This will not be the end of the Scarlet Crusade. Ah, you're dead. Instructor Galford, ah, you're dead. Galford once took great pride in caring for the Crusade's most valued documents. However, as he lay dying, he watched in horror as his precious tomes were burnt around them. Balnazar used this memory to imbue his servant with fiery powers that ravaged Galford in life. That's also a Nethrezine kind of thing to do. I'm going to kill you in a very particularly horrible way. Not because I'm evil or anything, but because I want to use that particularly horrible memory in order to ensure that you are stronger in as my new undead slave. Okay, so it's a little evil. This is Tyrion Fordring, right there. Ahem. Inside the Scarlet Bastion is a painting of personal value to High Lord Tyrion Fordring. Search for the painting of the Twin Moods. Chip away at the paint until you uncover the masterwork of love and family. So there's Balnazar. Back in vanilla, he was pretending to be Dathrahan, but no, he's just flat out, no, screw you, I'm Balnazar, die. You fools think you could defeat me so easily. Face the true might of the Nethrezine. Oh, and he's instantly killed. Yep. Oh, I forgot to kill the Hammersmith. Hang on. This won't take long. You'll notice how the Argent have taken over in absence of the Crusaders, which is actually a nice touch. There we go. That was a guy who was very relevant for weaponsmiths. There was also one on the dead side. We always called Stratholme live side, dead side. For obvious reasons. The live side was fighting the Scarlet Crusaders here, and the dead side was fighting, the Scourge over there. I find it funny because dead side was much, much larger than live side, but also much easier. Live side was incredibly difficult.
What's on your mind?
Ugh. Yeah, let's just try
Off with you.
quick.
How are you?
Defending tobacco. Oh, truly uncovered the stuff of legends. Excuse me, the snuff of legends.
Watch your back.
The Brotherhood of the Light transcends the ability of other groups to eradicate any affronts to the light. We will take actions necessary to rid the world of foul beasts like these undead. None shall stand in our path. The painting. Do you have the painting? Master Forging will be glad to see this beyond measure. It's good we stopped Balnazar long. Before long, his army would have overtaken all of Stratholme, giving him a powerful center for his new unholy empire. So the other thing he said briefly there was, I will meet you in Alonsis Chapel. It's the holy place where Uther the Lightbringer was ordained into the Silver Hand. It is the only building the Scourge cannot touch, and will be our forward base of operation in that half of the city. With your help, Stratholme will become the capital of the light, and a new beginning for Lorerun. Alright, so Dreadfuse, you're going to hate me, but, I imagine you want me to be honest, so I'm going to be honest. The Reddit thread comment doesn't bother me that much. For those of you who didn't bother to read it, since lore is kind of what we're doing here, let's go ahead and discuss it. Basically, what was mentioned in the Reddit thread was that Hearthsinger Fortune must die! There we go. What was mentioned in the thread was the idea that the nascent Titan, Azeroth, will never actually wake up. Oh, damn it. It is actually possible to get through there. I just failed. That's basically it. He also then said something really cheesy about how the power of the Titan is empowering us. Now, let's talk about this legitimately for a moment. First of all, the idea of Azeroth actually getting up is ludicrous. There is absolutely no way they could ever allow that to happen from a writing perspective. So coming out and flat out saying that it's not going to happen, I'm with it. That makes sense. Of course, we all kind of assumed that, to be completely blunt. Next point. The idea that we are empowered by the Titan's soul, that we are quite literally the reason that we are able to be the player characters because we have something empowering us. On the one hand, I like that. On the other hand, I don't, for literally the exact same reason. Yeah, I'm going to get to that one too, Norlex. He called him Azeroth, too, as opposed to Elune. Not sure what to make of that one yet, but we'll get there. Although Elune, that doesn't necessarily true, but that does lower the possibilities significantly. Anyways. So, God, I've completely lost my train of thought. I need to stop reading chat while I'm talking. You know what? I'm just gonna do the quest here real quick. Let's zip through here. This is dead side. I'm not actually gonna do any of the quests here. There's no additional lore really worthy of talking about, except for this. If you get this guy before he gets up here, which we did it. You can get him before he actually despawns, basically. It's kind of rough to do, but it's always fun to do. He also drops the key to the city, which you don't even need anymore. Okay. This is Deadside Stratholme, also known as the area that the Scourge have basically consumed, for lack of a better way to put this. There's a fairly large amount of Scourge light here. And, so the way this used to work, this is basically called the Gauntlet, but it's not actually a gauntlet. What it actually is the idea of... Okay, so you have to go through, there's all these ziggurats, and you have to go into each ziggurat. Each ziggurat has a boss. At the end of each ziggurat, you have to kill a bunch of guys, therefore destroying the ziggurat. Once you destroy all the ziggurats, the gateway opens, allowing you to access the slaughterhouse. There's quite a few decently powerful undead amongst the old Scourge here, including the Baroness Anastari. You remember her? She was the one who was trying to turn Gwin into a Death Knight. I'm not sure she has the power to do that, but, you know, at the very least she probably could have killed him and brought him back as a force of the Scourge Light. So that's valid. Let's go ahead and read their lore really quick here. So that was... Neruben Khan was the spider guy we fought earlier. Neruben Khan was a fearsome warrior during the War of the Spider. Ultimately, she succumbed to her wounds and was raised into undeath as an obedient minion of the Scourge. Now the Nerubian guards the ziggurat in Stratholme as fiercely as she defended her home and life. The Baroness Anastari, while she lived, took what she wanted no matter the cost. Death has done little to change her. Her soul ripped from her body. Anastari became a banshee, and she's abandoned her love of material trinkets in favor of possessions of a more sinister kind. Malachi the Pallid is the guy we just killed while you weren't paying attention. Malachi was amongst the very first to join the Cult of the Damned, showing tremendous aptitude in harnessing the chill of the grave. Driven by an insatiable desire for power, the mage fervently hones his skills in dark magic to prepare for when he will be remade as a lich. To which I say, yeah, right, buddy. I've always viewed Malachi as kind of a wannabe, basically, for lack of a nicer way to put that. Oh, real quick here. There was actually a quest as part of the 0.5 equipment. Tier, you know, there's Tier 0 and there's Tier 0.5, where you had to do Stratholme Deadside in about 45 minutes. If that doesn't sound hard, you never did it. We actually had a very specific pattern and a very specific crew of 4 people that we would drag the 5th person through when we did it. And there's the Slaughterhouse. You may recognize that from Warcraft 3. This was actually a gauntlet, believe it or not. Once you went in here back in vanilla, that gate closed, the one behind you. And then these abominations would roam around, and bit by bit, they would slowly roam after you. So there was no avoiding them unless you did certain strategies, basically. Once you defeat all of them, Ramstein the Gorger spawns. Once Ramstein is dead, then the lots of dead spawn. Once the lots and lots of dead are dead, then the elite soldier dudes fight, and sometimes it's possible to get stuck behind that door, which you don't want to do because then you're basically permanently stuck. You might be like, well, who the heck was Ramstein? I don't know how to pronounce that word. The Gorger. Ramstein was one of the Scourge's most infamous abominations, a horror stitched together from numerous corpses and empowered by ceaseless hunger. The monster committed unspeakable atrocities on the innocent when the Scourge forces overran Stratholme. We also killed Magistrate Bartholus. Bartholus was among the innocents purged by Arthas and his forces during the culling of Stratholme. The Lich King eventually raised the former magistrate from the grave and commanded the hulking monstrosity to guard his ruined home. But now there's only one person left. Aureus Rivendare. So this one needs a little bit of an explanation. Back in vanilla, there was a quest giver, a paladin, who was hiding out in the Lights Hope in the Alonsis Chapel over there. His name was Aureus Rivendare, son, I believe, of the Baron Rivendare. Baron Rivendare used to be the boss of this place. He has since been upgraded to one of the Four Horsemen, members of the Noxramas crew. And then, of course, we defeated him when we went through there both times. Aureus gave us several quests to try and defend himself and protect himself, and there was always just something a little bit off. Well, as it turns out, Aureus's fall from grace was precipitous. Failing to extract retribution from his corrupted father, Baron Rivendare, the former paladin was not granted peace in death. He was tragically reforged into an instrument of the Scourge, the evil he had once sworn to defeat. Unfortunately, there's not really any new quest dialogue from him, because of the fact that he's Aureus instead of the Baron Rivendare. And the mount did not drop, which does not surprise me. Thank God. I would actually have felt bad if it did. Yeah, that's where he mentions about... Yeah, so I didn't really do the quest because they're actually basically unchanged in terms of dialogue from vanilla, which also kind of is out of date, as I think I've mentioned before. So... so that is effectively all of the Eastern Plaguelands. So while we go back, why don't we go ahead and continue talking about that post. Apparently, Dave Kosak retracted his statement. I'm not sure what to make of that. But what I do want to say is that, for me, that's similar to something I do. I would probably explain it quite a bit more than just a two-sentence explanation. But in my opinion, Azeroth... should never get up. That's just ridiculous from every perspective writing-wise. So that should never be a thing. What should happen is Azeroth's inability to get up should not prevent it from still being a Titan. If you follow where I'm thinking with that. In other words, yes, the Titan will never actually get up and become a functional Titan. Okay. However, it will still be and have the power of a Titan and still be that nascent force and the immense amount of power that that can provide. And already has provided. I mentioned earlier that I both like and dislike the idea of us being empowered by the Titan's ability for the exact same reason. Let me explain what I mean by that. One of the things I like is when a setting goes out of its way to explain why you are so powerful. My favorite example of this is actually Final Fantasy V. The four main characters of Final Fantasy V are decent guys in a fight, but they're like normal level decent guys. You know, nothing special, nothing fancy, nothing capable of doing the incredible feats that they do, right? The only reason they are capable of doing those incredible feats is because they are empowered by the crystals. Yeah, I saw that coming. So I like that explanation. I like that there is a reason given for why the player characters are the player characters. FF3 is another good example of this for effectively the same reason. Arguably, FF7 has a similar reason too. You with me? So I like having an explanation for why we're, the hero, the guy, as the saying tends to go. On the other hand, I also rather tend to enjoy the idea that sometimes they don't need to have something empowering them. That sometimes there's not some great mystical destiny or fate or whatever that is pushing them to actually accomplish something. That is true, Cloudy. I like it when every now and again the hero is the hero just because of their determination, will, skill, and perseverance, you know? My favorite example of that I can point to immediately is the Wind Waker Link. For those of you not actually aware, the Wind Waker Link had no great destiny. He wasn't part of the bloodline of the Link line. He wasn't part of anything. He didn't have the Triforce even before he became a hero. He was just some kid who wanted to go get his sister back. And thanks to his perseverance, courage, determination, he became the hero, right? So I like both concepts, even though they are completely opposite of each other. Well, that's actually not true. Both concepts are actually different expressions of this idea over here. There is a third concept that I actually hate and have never seen implemented correctly, which we're not going to go into. I'll go ahead and just call that the Amazing Spider-Man concept and leave it over there where it belongs. So, on the one hand, like I said, I like being empowered. But on the other hand, it's like, I kind of like just being the PC, you know? Anyways. Why don't we go ahead and talk to our good friend Fiona here?
Open for business.
You've been more than helpful in anyone's expected of you, Deutsch. Doors of my caravan are always open to you. The boys and I have even put together a little something special for you. Here you go. So, Gidwin's medallion, the belt of the gentle lady, Terranar's token, the gloves of the journey's end, that's from the old paladin, and Fiona's armbands.
Always a pleasure.
That's just kind of cool. But now I think it's time we chop off the video for our YouTube viewers. So we'll be right back, YouTube viewers.